Logan Thompson tells a Fox 5 television interview that he tried to do everything to be VGK's number one goaltender, but the Golden Knights had other plans. We'll talk about that next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Kind of came out swinging today a little bit with that headline. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. Speaking with Fox 5's Vinny Sapienza, former Golden Knight goaltender Logan Thompson said that he asked for a larger role with VGK and more minutes. But Kelly McCrimmon and the organization, okay, I had to go Canadian on you too, basically said Adin Hill is their guy, and that's when he requested a trade. Let's start there, Chris Golick.
Okay. Listen, Logan, it's such a weird circumstance. Logan is as homegrown as there is as far as the Golden Knights are concerned. Long history with Kelly and with Kelly McCrimmon and the Wheat Kings, obviously, and a rough ride, an interesting ride to eventually become an NHL goaltender, a spot where he never thought, he might get to, and maybe a spot where coaches and general managers told him he would never get to as well. You look at what he accomplished in season 5. You look at what he did, obviously, in season 6 and 7. Logan has checked every single box there is to check. So I don't think he's wanting to be the man as much as he is wanting to be a bigger piece. He wants to be a bigger piece of the pie. And it's not like he's trying to bump Adin Hill from being the starter of the team. I think he wants the responsibility. And I really think there was issues before the playoffs, but I think it came to a head after game 4 when the keys to the car went back to Adin Hill. And that, I think, was the moment when Logan realized where he ranked in things and where his future was. And it's not just about what was going to happen in the 24-25 season, but it's beyond that. Logan wants an extension. He wants to get paid, and he wants to see where he can eventually get to. And he realized that if Adin Hill were to have a healthy season, Logan's looking at 28 to 30 appearances at the most, and that's not enough. Not someone his age, contract year, and everything going on.
Yeah, so you feel as though he would be okay with the platoon situation, but he just wanted more minutes, like he said. And then I'm just curious how this came to a head. LT said that there is no bad blood. His departure happened, I think, pretty quick after the trade request. We heard rumors of teams inquiring for both Logan Thompson and Adin Hill. And do we feel that this trade and goaltender moves, do you think that this was in the works for some time? Do you think that VGK, again, maybe late in the season and like March or around the trade deadline or what have you, said, you know what, we need to ship out Logan Thompson, or something's got to happen with our goaltenders?
The writing on the wall for this didn't start 2 or 3 weeks ago. It started during the Stanley Cup run. It started when Logan did everything he could to do what he could to basically get back in the mix as far as being available, if you will, for the Golden Knights during their Stanley Cup run. And unfortunately, it didn't work out where Logan Thompson was able to dress down the stretch there. And fine, so be it. That happens. But that's the moment that got us to where we are today. And Ilya Samsonov now is going to be the backup goaltender. And we'll see how that shakes out. Yeah, that's what I got there. Go ahead.
No, LT said he's been relatively healthy, pretty much played through the season. He did play through some
injuries.
Hurts. He played through some hurts, we'll say, right? Okay. Did LT deserve more PT? Did he deserve more playing time? I think that's what it boils down to. I think even if he didn't say that, I felt as though he could have been odd man out in this situation. But now you also have some issues with Aiden Hill going into a contract year. We've seen how well
Uh,
VGK has
uh,
handled players going into contract years, final year of their contracts.
I mean, what's Aiden Hill's next contract worth, depending on how this season
Oh
goes?
my
That's
goodness.
obviously
They want
one
him
for
to
the
bomb.
parking lot.
They want him to, they want him to flop. Okay. Basically, off the record, I'm guessing they don't want him to have a great season so that it devalues him and his brand and himself. And then either he walks or they come back with something cheap and they don't give him term.
Samsonov, God.
No, Samsonov luggage. Is that what you're going to say?
Samsonov is the 25-26 VGK starter for
Is that a good nickname?
for $3.2 million.
Is that okay? Samsonov luggage because he's traveled a lot.
Fair enough. All right, let's look at some stats here, then let's talk. So Logan Thompson last season, 46 appearances, 25, 14, and 5, 270 goals against. Okay. 908 save percentage. Fine. I don't know about the goals against, but I know the save percentage is north. It's above the league average. That's all you can ask for. Aiden Hill, 35 appearances, 19, 12, and 2. 271 goals against. So they got the same goals against. 909 save percentage. So they have the same save percentage. They're the same goalie. Like, I get it. Aiden Hill got the flowers. Aiden Hill had the save in the Stanley Cup final. Aiden Hill had a remarkable 4-week run from the Edmonton series on. Like, no one is ever going to take that away from Aiden Hill.
And then they overpaid him.
What else has Aiden Hill done?
They overpaid him. This is this organization.
Overpaid him. And
it makes
for him.
No sense. Great for him. Great for him. But this organization isn't consistent at all.
The mistakes that were made with prior contracts are why all this Jonathan Marchessault stuff has been
Vegas
happening.
Bjorn. How is Vegas Bjorn still on this team? That's my biggest question.
Tony, he's
going to be hugging.
He made his money last year.
He's going to be hugging Foley in the next victory celebration again.
Good for him. I mean, so
BLTs every day.
Back to
Foley.
So Logan Thompson is talking about the playing time and wanting to have a bigger role, which is kind of odd because he did have the bigger role. He had the bigger role the last 2 seasons of the goalies. But now you start looking at the situations. And this is something that I point out. I think I've been the only one on this for the last year. And Logan Thompson never had a consecutive start in net in the regular season when Aiden Hill was behind him and healthy. That tells you exactly where Logan Thompson
stood. Yeah.
And then what did Aiden Hill have to do or not do for how long to get to the point where Logan Thompson had no choice but to make Logan the playoff starter. Aiden was so terrible down the stretch. Sorry to be bluntly honest, but Aiden was so bad, and there was health issues I think playing in too. But Aiden had to be so bad to the point where Sean Burke had to throw his hands up and say, "There's nothing I can do. It had to be Logan by necessity." And we've talked about that relationship many times. And what did Logan do in the playoffs? He was great. He was fine. He had one save that he had the shot that went off his head, and he had one goal between his legs.
Okay, that was awful.
It was bad. It happens. It happens.
Thought he was playing soccer he thought he was in the Copa Cup there.
There you go. Fine. So, and then Aiden Hill Logan Thompson has a good run in the playoffs, and it still isn't good enough. Logan Thompson's playoff numbers: 2-2, 2.35, and a 9.21 save percentage. Now, to Aiden Hill's credit, Aiden Hill has a 1.7 goals against and has a 9.31 save percentage. So maybe Aiden Hill is a playoff goalie. Maybe Aiden Hill is a playoff goalie enough the regular season.
Yeah, who knows, right? He only shines when the spotlight is on him. And I'm just curious how Logan Thompson fares in that it's going to be tougher there. It's a grittier conference there in the East. And so I'm just curious how he responds there. I think he'll do just fine. And I think because he's getting that opportunity, he's going to get his minutes. He's going to be able to play. Could be going in as the number 1 goaltender there with Washington. So I think that's a good thing for him personally. And now Logan Thompson is going to, I saw yesterday, he is going to play in this softball game this weekend.
Logan Thompson is still
He'll get a nice ovation. he'll get a great ovation.
He'll get a great.
What,
Well, did
what
they get a
position
video?
does he
Did he get the
play?
Riley Smith send off like they got last year? So, all right. So here's what Logan Thompson's coming into. Him and Charlie Lindgren are going to be competing for starts. Lindgren, I know, did have a very decent season last year. See if I can
Yeah,
pull it up.
they
Really
feel like
fast.
they have two good ones, and you need two goaltenders.
No,
Let's face
it's a platoon league. It's a platoon league. Whether it's 50 and 32, starts or however it shakes out, it is definitely
Do you
a
think? Do
platoon
you
league.
think that they promised LT X amount of starts? I'm
They didn't
sure that
promise him
that's part
anything.
of.
No,
Ah,
that's
they
not
have to have
happening.
some discussions about how many he might have, even if it's not a promise.
So comparing here's something that
But their
does matter
promise is
also.
probably better and probably more noteworthy than a promise from Kelly McCrimmon.
That's fair. I mean, listen, McCrimmon's who he is, and we can hit that anytime. That's a layup
Parking
segment.
lot,
So
parking lot.
real fast here, just looking at the defense. John Carlson, $8 million a year. Matt Roy, 5.75. Jacob Chikrin, 4.6. Rasmus Sandin. Then you got veteran Trevor Van Riemsdyk back there, and then Alexander Alexiev, Ethan Bear, and Martin Favory. So I mean, there's a good defensive core in Washington. It's not what it is in Vegas by any means. So Logan's going to be a bit busier, but if Logan goes to Washington, gets 48 appearances, keeps his save percentage, let's say 909 or better, he's getting paid. He's getting
Yeah,
paid.
there's still no extension here in place, right? I mean, no,
There
we
was
haven't
never
seen
going to
it.
be an extension in place for Logan. I can
Yeah,
confidently say
anywhere,
this.
even Well, we'll see how they treat him in Washington. And he
It
said
can't be
nothing.
any worse. I'm sorry, it can't be any worse. Logan, Logan walked the dog a little bit. He took it a little bit easy on Fox, and that's okay. I don't blame him. I mean that's yeah.
You took the high road, and that I thought was awesome. Nothing against the team or the city or
Of course.
McCrimmon, who drafted him
How come
into
Vinny
the
didn't ask him about Sean Burke? Come on, Vinny. Come on, Vinny.
Brandon Wheat Kings. You're not allowed to. That's not permissible, because you're not even able to interview any of the assistant coaches around here. Coming up next, where did the Golden Knights land on ESPN's way too early NHL power rankings? It's not good, folks. Coming up next, right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
It's fine.
This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every single day, each and every day, this entire summer. It's really hot bet summer, if you will. So head on over to FanDuel.com/lockedon and start making the most out of your summer. Major League Baseball is in full swing, so get in your bets there. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. It is football season already. So today, heading over to Allegiant Stadium, Big 12 Media Days the next couple of days. And starting tomorrow, we have the Mountain West Conference Media Days downtown at Circa. So it's a busy time for football here. And also, I have to point this out. You'll like this one. Because the Pac-12 is down to just two teams, the Pac-2, they're doing a little mixer at Bellagio tonight. So that's their media day for the Pac-2. So it's kind of funny. So we appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. I don't know what's going on. Move that sun a little bit. It's only 130 here early in the morning. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel, where you sometimes find the Chris and Chris Jr. show. And on Fridays, it's WTF. So ESPN comes out with its way too early rankings for the upcoming season. A panel of experts came up with its rankings. Florida was first, of course, defending champs, and Edmonton second. But then it was the Stars and Rangers third and fourth, then Colorado, Carolina, Boston, Nashville, Vancouver, Toronto was 10th. The Devils were 11th. And then this team from Vegas, where we have no hard feelings, VGK ranked 12th. The Sharks are still last, but that's about where I think VGK should land appropriately at this time. And it just said, and we did give VGK an incomplete off-season grade, and it said the same thing in their little excerpts there. It said, we're not convinced that they are, VGK, are done making summer moves either. Still one or two moves, right?
I don't know. I mean, what's out there? This Marner thing I think is as good as dead.
No, why?
Zegras,
Why? Marner's not signed. Do you realize this?
I do.
Marner's still not signed to an extension. Leon Draisaitl, this could be his last year in Edmonton if he makes it that far. And Sidney Crosby.
Now you're the one that sounds like a fan.
I'm trying. I'm trying so hard this summer. Yeah, no extension. Well, the heat's gotten to me, and the fog's starting to roll in again. Still hope there for one of those three. I don't know.
No, there's. I mean,
Come on, stir the pot.
Marner,
We
the
need some
door
clicks.
isn't closed.
We need some clicks, Golick.
Marner, the door isn't closed, but it's closing fast. Leon Draisaitl, there won't be. We'll see. I don't think Draisaitl leaves Edmonton. Who knows? We'll see. Outside of that, I think the only big name-ish player that is floating around, and I think he's more higher price than his talent is, which makes him perfect, I guess. But Trevor Zegras would be fascinating because
maybe the Rangers is what I'm seeing a lot of out there.
And there could be too, definitely. And Vegas is always in on anybody. Let's be clear about this. Vegas is in on everybody until they can't, as far as cap constraints that Vegas doesn't have go. But the Golden Knights don't have the intangibles to make a deal for Marner right now. Leon Draisaitl is not being traded from Edmonton. I don't think they traded Gretzky. Maybe they will trade him. I don't know. Back to these power rankings here. 12 at face value, I didn't mind. Seeing New Jersey ahead of Vegas, I think that is a little bit of a stretch. I think
What about Nashville? What about Nashville up there, like number 8?
I like that. I mean, I think the power rankings are more representative of the season Nashville is going to have when comparing to the sports betting futures odds right now. The Golden Knights I saw are about 11 or 12 to 1 to win the cup, and the Preds are about 15 or 16 to 1 to win the cup. Much better value on the Preds.
I thought the Golden Knights were plus 1,600 last we saw.
It depends. They're changing.
Okay.
You can click on 6 different sports books and get 6 different numbers.
I think FanDuel had it. Of course, our folks there. I think it was around 1,600. Okay.
Either way, but so point being is Golden Knights at 12. I don't mind that. Seeing New Jersey, and that's only one spot, but seeing New Jersey ahead, I don't necessarily buy that. All the other teams that are ahead of Vegas, I'm okay with. As far as teams behind Vegas, I mean, we'll see what Los Angeles has. Winnipeg is good in the regular season. They screwed up in the playoffs. Detroit, Patrick Kane, Tarasenko, we'll see if that gets them going.
You're not taking a flyer on Paul Maurice's Winnipeg futures bet? He said they're going to win the cup this year. So
Paul Maurice said that?
Yeah.
I heard him. I know he did make a nice comment. I think it was a little more emotional than anything.
Of course.
So I mean, Vegas is right where they should be, and I think 12 is fine. 12, I mean, theoretically has you in the playoffs comfortably, and I don't think it's going to be that comfortable, but we'll see.
Remember a couple of weeks ago we did who is the next player to leave Las Vegas? Who's the next man out? And is it still Shea Theodore?
We make a segment out of that?
No, we always can.
That's a great parking lot, honestly.
You want to do that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that tomorrow. Next man out.
That's a great segment. But there will be changes, and there will be changes in the season. And what I will say is,
for the shows, man.
What's that?
Do so much. This is how we prep for shows.
This is how
we do so much homework behind the scenes.
With this much prep in your background, imagine how good it would be.
I know. I have to get a Vegas Bureau. You know what? I'm going to see if I could get like an IKEA drop for my background.
You want me to send you that William Karlsson poster up there over my shoulder?
Why not? Yeah, send that to me. We'll put that
right up there. When we drop your address, have the fans send you things for a background.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so
I wish you were going to be at the softball game. Someone might have made a "Shut Up Tony" shirt that they might be wearing, but I don't know. It's not me or Christopher.
Seriously, someone at the softball game will wear a "Shut Up Tony" shirt.
Possibility exists.
Get photos. You need to post that. That's going to be extraordinary.
All right, Ray, you heard that.
So Ricky White, UNLV's outstanding and talented wide receiver, was named to the softball roster. This is more important stuff than these way too early rankings.
Way more important.
This is our way too early preview of the softball game this Saturday. Ricky White, I asked him yesterday in interview class, so I hear you're in the charity softball game. Like, what position do you play? What's your baseball background? He said, I might have swung a bat once or twice. But he's in the new
Has,
Madden game. The new Madden game, he's going to be in there. Like,
has he been on
they
ice
have all these
skates
college kids.
more or swung a bat more in his life? That's the question.
Oh my goodness. Now it could be fun. So if you see him out there, fans, give him a lot of encouragement. He goes, yeah, it's just like this little charity thing. I go, Ricky, it's like a sold out stadium. And there's a lot of crazy fans out there. Luckily, you're on the VGK side, so they won't boo you. So he's excited
They
about it.
don't
No,
boo the Raiders
so
side
give
either.
him some encouragement out there. And Brandon Brissow, I hope he's a little bit harder on softballs this year than he was in the past. No, he's never played.
Brisson needed some reps because he didn't do the development camp, so they put him in the softball game. There you go, Tony.
Oh, that's right. They had to
There you
plug
go,
him in
Tony.
somewhere else.
That was Tony. That was my inner Tony talking. That wasn't me. That was my inner Tony talking.
Is there anyone else that was added last minute? Logan Thompson, as we said, will be.
Well, he
out
wasn't
there.
added. Logan's always been in. Alec Martinez out. The kid from UNLV, Brandon Brisson. I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Oh, the way too early rankings for the upcoming season. So it's fair where they're at. It doesn't matter.
I think outside the top 10 is very reasonable. I think the only spot I don't agree with is New Jersey. Looking ahead, I actually think Toronto's going to take some steps forward. I think they made some good moves in the back, and obviously bringing in Berube is going to help. So I think Toronto takes a bigger step forward than 10.
Hope so.
Teams, I think, just maybe thinking way ahead here that can make some noise. I think Nashville and Vancouver, especially Vancouver, is a team that could definitely take a step forward. We'll see what happens.
Coming up next, the Golden Knights schedule is out. Is it as rigged as it was a season ago?
Here we go.
We'll get to that. We return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
Awesome.
Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Kollick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen, numero uno, each and every day. Thank you so much. And thanks to fans tuning in globally, everywhere around the world. We do appreciate that. Fridays are WTF. If you are new to the show, that's where we don't allow, but we are sure that we have some good interactions with a lot of the fans of VGK, of hockey, and most importantly, of me and my backdrop here. And of course, on Saturdays, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show, which we're going to hear from you guys at some point, I would have to imagine.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of content coming from me and Chris at the softball game. Going to be fun.
So you're going to the softball game, you and Chris Jr.
Me and Chris are representing Locked On VGK at the softball game.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's good.
Oh God,
that'll be fun.
Be great. Oh yeah, Chris he's pumped. He's looking forward to being the man and asking some questions and having some fun. He'll be interviewing. He might interview more players than I do. They might keep me in the back. So Chris is my Chris will get it done.
How are the Golden Knights off again each and every holiday this upcoming season?
Everyone's off Thanksgiving. Let's start there.
Well, the Christmas holiday break, okay, but New Year's, Nevada Day, they're here. Valentine's Day, they're definitely here for the Wagyu crew. I mean, where would they be without their honey?
Isn't Valentine's? Well, yes and no. I mean,
I don't know.
That's the break. That's the big break for the Four Nations.
All of a sudden, they'll all be here except for Eichel. Who else? I don't know if anyone else is going to win any awards this year.
March 2nd, April 16th, as they catch up from the extended break. Even February 22nd, you want to go that far back? That's going to be what a sprint to the finish line that's going to be.
So VGK opens up here on October the 9th, 3 home games to start the season. Colorado, St. Louis, Anaheim. If they're not 2-1 or 3-0, I don't know what's going on there. But then they send them on the road. It's an early road trip for South Beach Bruce to go down to Florida on the tail end at Washington against LT, the revenge game, and then at Tampa, and then at Florida. And Bruce comes back with that early tan. 13 back-to-backs this season compared to 11 last year. So they weren't as kind as they were
listening. They were listening.
Yes.
They got your care package.
They know that I would have been down there at development camp if they didn't have more back-to-backs out there protesting every day. I'd have a Marchessault sign, a Logan Thompson sign. I would have an Amadio sign, and then, of course, the rigged schedule sign. Just the hashtag rigged. That's it. That's why they kept it low key. You know that, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So they know. They know. Just in time for American Thanksgiving. How about that road trip? At Toronto and Ottawa back to back, at Montreal, and still in the history of this organization, they have yet to face some really bad weather conditions. How do they dodge all this? How do they dodge it, dude?
Looking at this road trip, I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Not just the road trip, but the couple of games after. So back-to-backs, Toronto and Ottawa, 1 day off Montreal, 1 day off Philly, 1 day off Colorado, long flight game against Colorado in altitude, 1 day off, back-to-backs in Vegas against Winnipeg and Utah, and then 2 days off, and then you got another back-to-back, Edmonton, Anaheim, 1 day off, Dallas, and then they got looks like somehow they got an extended break from Friday the 6th to Thursday the 12th of December. I'm curious what factored into that. That's a 5 calendar day break between the games. Maybe that's like the built-in bye that all the teams get, where they get about a week off during the regular season.
It's someone's birthday.
Fair enough.
Got to have it off for someone's birthday.
So normally the All-Star break is what? It's that Thursday to the following Tuesday or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
You have the Four Nations face-off. I hope I got that right from the marketing side. You have the Four Nations face-off that's going to have the league pause from Saturday, February 8th until Saturday, February 22nd. And if I had to guess, they might not even let the players return to practice until that Friday the 21st. They usually have a lockdown on that. It might be a little different this year, but point being is that 2-week pause has condensed the schedule so much, and it's going to be fun. But this is where the war of attrition is going to be tough. This is where this aging roster is going to need all the help they can get. And you do look at the pickups possibly of Olofsson and Holtz in their younger-ish league, especially Holtz. So maybe that will definitely help. And of course, you can't say those names without saying Marchessault being a little bit older. So maybe the team knew what they were doing, Tony. Maybe this is the one time they got this one right, because all the condensed games, it was time for Marchessault to go. I don't know.
Oh, I cut off that road trip. It's at Toronto, Ottawa, at Montreal, at Philly, at Colorado, and then home in time for turkey dinner. Just so nice. Yeah, it's great to have them back here to do their honeydew list and all that, and to get their car detail there at City National. I was looking at, I don't know how, this isn't so accurate, but remember in the past, these back-to-backs, the NHL would route teams through Arizona. They'd play there first and then tail end back-to-back in Las Vegas. That was really good in favor of VGK. That definitely was a competitive advantage. But now I was trying to see where they're going to route them from. And I was looking at Utah's schedule, and there's 5 times where teams either play here first or in Utah first for back-to-backs. And I saw there was Washington, back-to-back Washington to Las Vegas. I saw CBJ is here first and then goes to Utah. Where else could they be routing them? San Jose. The Ducks play in San Jose first end of a back-to-back. January 30th, you've got Vancouver coming into Las Vegas, I think, from Utah. The Devils play first in Utah, and then they come to Las Vegas. Is that a little – I just think for some reason it's a little bit more difficult to go from Utah to Vegas for the tail end of a back-to-back here for opponents, then Arizona to here. Altitude, all that other stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Fans,
I mean,
half the fans can't even see the game, all that stuff.
So what I want to highlight is the last 11 games. The only reason why I'm starting with the 11th game, it's the Chicago Blackhawks, but it's in Chicago and then a back-to-back against Nashville. You can even go to the final 12 games because it starts with a 3-game road trip. Minnesota, Chicago, Nashville. But then the April schedule, home games, Edmonton, Winnipeg. It's either every other day, and there's two back-to-backs too. So 2 home games, Edmonton, Winnipeg. You got a day off in between. Road trip in Calgary, in Vancouver. That's back-to-back. 1 day off at Colorado. They come home against Seattle on April 10th, home against the Preds on the 12th. Then they finish in Calgary and in Vancouver. So that last 12 games, that's difficult. Last year, Tony, if you remember, the end of the schedule was very advantageous for the Golden Knights. So advantageous they didn't even play
every year rigged.
Not this year. Not this year. The final
No,
12 games
it's
are
less.
incredibly
It's
difficult.
less rigged. It's less rigged because they're going to play like the Kings, I think, into March, rather than being done with that series in December when it didn't really matter much. But I just feel that they should be playing divisional games, every game in that final month of the season, a la what Major League Baseball does. I do.
In the final, 9 games of April, I think 7 of them are divisional.
Good. That's good. Is Edmonton in there? No.
Edmonton, April 1st. So division games,
April
Edmonton,
Fools.
Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver. So that's 6 of the final 9 are divisional games.
Good. Okay. Well, that's a little bit more fair. And what is that called? Seven Nation Army? What's the name of that?
It's a good song.
I know.
I think 4 Nations
all I
Face
think of.
Off. I don't know.
Okay. I call it Seven
It's
Nation
going to be
Army.
cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
That's what can I stick with that? That's what I'm going to call from now on.
4 Nations Army?
Seven Nation Army. Well, even though there's not 7.
They
bounced the Czechs, bounced Czech, and they bounced Russia, right? They're not in this. Okay. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We'll have much, much more. We put something on the parking lot. Next Man Out. We can dive into that.
I actually like Next Man Out. That's first segment, unless something happens. I like that.
Okay. Yeah, today's a football day, so I'm not going to have much time to think about the hockey and your softball game. You should get some licks in there. They should put you in, Chris, in the batting cage. I think that would be kind of fun. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially the everydayers who tune in each and every day. And of course, Fridays, WTF. That's a big day for us here with all of your comments and such. And Saturdays, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. show, which will be a special edition, but not on Saturday, right? You're not going to preview softball, are you?
I think we'll have a Sunday show. I think we'll do a Sunday show.
Okay.
I think we'll loop in a bunch of footage from the game, and yeah, that'll be cool.
How fun. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please stay cool, stay hydrated, and take care.